So Blue Exorcist this week, similar to last week, was a fairly decent episode. I had a lot of fun with this. It definitely hasn't risen to season 1 standards to me just yet, but it is interesting like last week. And we get to see the backstory of Rin's sword. I forget the name of the sword, but the sword that his father sealed his demon powers away in the scabbard there, and if it was ever drawn, his powers would be awakened. And we get to see that that sword is actually the relic that Bond's family would worship, this artifact. And we get to see this nice flashback with his father, and he just drops down, he kills this giant ass bird, some sort of weird demon bird, destroys this ritual that they're doing. Like, they're burning, I believe, Bond's father's wife, if I'm not mistaken, and they're doing this sacred ritual, and he just comes down, destroys that shit, and says, oh yeah, I'm gonna be taking this now. And that's how the episode ends. But it's interesting because, if I'm not mistaken, like, in season 1, we get to see that the sword gets repaired by one of the members in Bond's clan there. But it was never 100% confirmed that the sword came from there, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been. Because it has been a couple of months since I've seen season 1. It might have been in the anime original stuff. It might have been confirmed that this was their artifact or it came from them. But I think at most it was just confirmed that it came from them and that's how they can repair it. I think. I mean, it's been a while, so forgive me if I'm getting it wrong, but I believe that's how it is. But it's interesting now seeing fully confirmed that this sword came from his family 100%. So, I mean, even if it was in the anime original stuff, it's now confirmed in the manga stuff as well. But I thought it was interesting. I just love the introduction. We haven't seen Rin's father for a while, and he was always an interesting character. Kind of a badass, but just really he was an interesting character. So seeing him come down, destroying this, like, funeral ritual that they're doing, that had me smiling. But it's interesting where it is, because there's something I was a little interested with when they were talking about the two eyes, as both eyes are now in the possession of Toto. And Toto literally can bring the destruction of the world, because it seems like when the two eyes are brought together, sort of like this calamity will spread and infect all those around. And I was questioning in my head, I was like, okay, this seems to be a plot hole, because if he had both of those eyes, why not just do it then and there instead of running off? And luckily, one of the characters in the episode says, well, if he had those eyes, why wouldn't he do it right there? Unless he wants to go to a specific location, or he has a bigger picture planned. So I was glad they brought that up, because I was questioning, I was like, seriously, if he already had both the eyes, he should have just done it then and there. So I'm glad there was a character who had the exact same thoughts as myself, saying, why won't they do it unless he has a bigger picture than just bringing this calamity, unless he's going to do something like even more crazy, like maybe revive a demon or something. You never know what he could do there. But I did like that. I thought it was a nice little touch. I'm glad another character brought up a point that I think a lot of people would say, well, why wouldn't they just do it right then and there? The episode was interesting, you know what I mean? I'm glad we're getting back into some interesting content with Blue Exorcist. In terms of the visual presentation and the voice acting, it's still been on point. Nothing's really dropping there. But I'm just glad the actual story content, there is still, it's fine for them to have the I don't trust Rin stuff, but there needs to be actual content and story progression happening while that's happening. That's why I like the anime original stuff, as even when they're just like, I don't trust Rin, something was happening. It wasn't them just sitting around talking about it. So I'm glad that now they're still not trusting Rin. They have him locked up. They have him in this kind of prison now, but there still is stuff happening in the background that makes you interested. And I mean, even Bond's father gives Rin a letter pretty much confirming all this that has happened. So I mean, there definitely is a friendship between Bond's father and Rin's father, and it's interesting where this is going to go, because I'm quite interested to see ultimately where this ends up and what's Bond's father's doing, because it looks like he might be running into a suicide mission. And who knows if he's going to live before Bond and him can make up, because Rin didn't have that chance with his father. It doesn't feel like there's a lot happening in any particular episode of Blue Exorcist, but it is in the point now that it's interesting enough to watch week to week, as the first 3 to 4 episodes really kind of weren't, you know? It felt like it would have been better to binge those, but it does feel like we're getting into the point that it's now feeling good to watch this series weekly again, but I'm having a fun time right now. Currently, I have positive feelings for Blue Exorcist. It still is lesser than Season 1 in my opinion, but I'm at least having fun now. But for anyone who watched the episode, what are you thinking? Where do you think Bond's father's going to? He's running off on some sort of suicide mission, so what do you think he's up to? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and before you leave, hit that like button if you did enjoy the video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.